We could all be a little better at using Windows, including me, but despite that, today here are 10 tips on how to use Windows more effectively. Quite coincidentally, this is the 10th version of Windows. I swear that's not a coincidence. Tip number 1. Open up your Windows settings and go to Update and Security and update your Windows, because security updates are super important to making sure your computer is not at risk to the latest malware and other things that people have invented to infect your computer. So please, check for updates. Just click on that little button, check for updates, update, install it. But if you're going to do this, do it overnight, especially if you use a hard disk drive, because these often do take a while. See, there's a security update right there. This wasn't actually planned. This actually showed up. So security updates are always coming out. Please always install them. Many of them don't even require a restart. See, that was literally just installed right there. So yeah, update your Windows. It's not only Windows, it's other things like security. It's important. Another tip from the Windows settings, go to System, Display, and change your scaling to 100%. This will really help you and pretty much anyone who wants to do multiple things at once, because with 100% scaling, you actually get the space to do everything you need. Another benefit of 100% scaling is that most legacy applications, well, not really legacy, but applications that are meant to work with 100% scaling, like Audacity and even like Premiere Pro, won't work. Some features won't work with anything that isn't 100% scaled. They need 100% scaling to actually work. So remember, if you need anything to be done on your computer, set it to 100% scaling. Another tip for everyone, learn your Windows shortcuts. Windows E, that's your Explorer. Windows S, that's your search. I do not know why you would want this, but Windows C is Cortana, and Windows X is all your important stuff right here. And speaking of important stuff, Task Manager, all your processes running right here. You can click on any one of them and shut them down, pretty rightfully as well. You can also click on the Performance tab and check the performance for all the components of your computer, including the recently added temperature for graphics cards. That's pretty well appreciated. I really like that. App History for all your Windows 10 apps, which nobody uses. This is an important panel. The Startup panel. Here you can check every single program that actually starts with your computer, and turning these off will probably increase the time that it takes for you to start up your computer. So please go ahead and do so for anything you don't actually use or don't need immediate access to after you turn on a computer. It will really speed up the process between having a computer completely off and having it fully up and operational. The Users tab offers information on users, but I'm only one person using this computer, so that's not very useful to me. Details offers details on all the executables currently running. This is very useful actually, because you can actually check a lot of stuff that's really useful, like open file location. If there's a virus running on a computer, right click on it, open file location, check it and delete it. If there's something you don't want running on your computer, right click on it, you can go open file location and delete it. And finally, services. There's actually a bigger menu for services. This is part of the general Windows configuring environment with all the crazy stuff you can do here. Lots of stuff, all these Windows functions and other stuff like from NVIDIA here for me. There's stuff from Realtek, mostly driver stuff, but also stuff like Adobe stuff. Another very important tip, Windows search real quick, disk cleanup. This is very important. You can actually disk cleanup pretty much any disk on Windows and find anything that Windows wants to delete from your main C disk and delete it. You can also click on cleanup system files, and it will actually check any system files and it will add those to your queue, and you can click on OK. And yeah, another super useful tip for anyone who has a dedicated graphics card in this computer, open up the settings, type in graphic and go to graphic settings right over here. You can browse for pretty much any executable and choose what graphics card to run it on. So for example, here I have Minecraft running on high performance, like a boss. Kerbal Space Program running on high performance, OBS Studio, so I can actually toggle it, because OBS Studio, like a lot of capturing applications, has to change graphics card based on what it's capturing, and obviously it can't do that on the fly, so I have to change it in this menu every time I need to capture something different, and it's kind of annoying. As another tip, go through all of your Windows settings. You can personalize stuff, you can do a bunch of crazy stuff with all the stuff, not crazy stuff specifically, but many things. With all the various settings you have here, you can modify a lot of things that you don't like. For example, there's a theme in Windows. There's themes. There's stuff like themes that obviously there's ones that you can get here, but there's also stuff like choosing a light theme for Windows. I don't know what kind of maniac would use Windows and light theme. It looks utterly horrifying to me, but I guess if you're into that kind of thing, then I guess you could use it. You can change your applications to dark theme. That's actually pretty cool. I might keep it that way, but not because I need to keep the video consistent. You can also change stuff like the start menu and change stuff like showing more tiles on start. You can show recently added apps, although that's incredibly annoying and nobody uses that. Please turn that off. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in settings. Just go through all your settings, look at that. Here's a little tip. If you have multiple keyboards or use multiple keyboard inputs, so you want to switch between different languages on your keyboard, hold down the Windows key and press space. Obviously nothing's appearing here, but if I were to go to settings and actually go to my language settings over here, and I were to go to language and add a keyboard, so for example, I have an Italian keyboard. And I want to type in Italian, and it will download all of this stuff for me. So if I want to basically download all my stuff for Italian, it will do that. And once that's done, as you can see, I'm able to switch between the various modes. So English, so typing in English with an Italian keyboard, typing in English with a US keyboard, and Italian language, so typing with Italian spell correct with an Italian keyboard by holding down Windows and the space key. Another important tip, update your BIOS. Now, I have a Lenovo computer, and it comes with this inbuilt little program thing, where you can go to System Update, check for updates, and it does driver updates and other such things. Although Windows updates can actually do all of that for you, some computers may still require manual services to do so. My computer does not. I'm just showing you this as an example, but you can update your BIOS from here. And updating your BIOS is not specifically something to Windows, but you should probably do it because it's pretty cool. Another thing that's pretty cool, make shortcuts. I have shortcuts to all the important folders that I use, simply because I need to go to my 2 different drives and have different stuff, all my permanent stuff on my disk, and any programs and things I need to keep on my disk but need to access very, very quickly, not specifically data, mostly programs, on my SSD. So I have all my program files, project files, everything here, and you should have cool shortcuts on your desktop to access all of that. It makes it so much easier. And if you're going in Explorer and searching through it, shortcuts appear in Explorer. Everything looks nice and organized, and it's all pretty cool.